welcome to a brand new season of Top Speed, and as usual we have lined up really nice and exciting stories for you. But to kick off the season, what we have is this, a brand new car, the S-Cross from market leader Maruti Suzuki.
Maruti Suzuki, better known for its smaller compacts, is making another foray into a more premium segment with the introduction of the S-Cross, a car which is bigger and better embellished in terms of fitments and features. And the S-Cross doesn't share its platform with any other Maruti product in India.
The S-Cross might be a new car for the Indian market, but keep in mind that the S-Cross has existed in many parts of the world. But where it really makes sense for the Indian market is in its size. At 4.3 meters, she is really compact, which will make it easy to drive and even easier to park. The S-Cross in terms of design is certainly not a car which is going to set your heart on fire, because the design is typically Maruti, conservative, understated, and in spite of the fact that the company has tried to liven up things by adding chrome garnish grills, a large headlamp here, and even chrome surrounds for the fog lamp, it still doesn't make the car really attractive. The strength of the S-Cross is not design. The fact that she has the qualities of a sedan with the practicality of an SUV is what will make the S-Cross so very user-friendly on an everyday basis. Maruti calls this a premium crossover. Whether it's premium or not, we're going to find out. But I like the honesty about the bit crossover, because unlike many other manufacturers, Maruti has been honest enough to call it the crossover and not an SUV. So mind you, this doesn't come with a 4x4 or an all-wheel drive.
The S-Cross might not be a full-fledged SUV with a 4x4, but what it does have is sufficient ground clearance of 180 millimeters to enable you to venture somewhat off the road. But of course, for hardcore off-roading, it will fall short.
What really impresses me about this car is the quality of materials that they have used. They have really gone up drastically, and it looks fairly premium. Not quite premium, but Maruti is in fact getting there. And in fact, Maruti wants to position this car very differently and create a separate branding for the company, so much so that they have created a different outlet system for selling this car. They call it the Nexa, which will be exclusive in case you decide to buy the S-Cross. The S-Cross, as I said, comes with a host of new features, including a 7-inch display for what Maruti calls the audio-visual navigation, or the avian in short. And it has features like the navigation and connectivity. And what I find is an interesting feature here is the voice command. And Maruti specifies that it will understand Indian English. Now that's interesting, because my question is, what really is Indian English? English sounds quite different in Tamil Nadu from what it sounds in Sarji's Swadhi Delhi. But I leave that you to figure it out.
Apart from the TFT display, the S-Cross also comes with rain-sensing wipers, rear parking sensor, push-start button, auto AC, and an adjustable steering wheel for both height and reach to enable you to find the right driving position.
Once you slide into the rear seat, the big question here is, does it have enough space? And the answer is, yes, it does, provided you are an average-size adult. Plenty of knee room here, lots of headroom, adequate shoulder room, and what you also get is an armrest with 2 cup holders, all very well. But my guess is that if you're going to carry 3 passengers on this rear seat, things might get a bit too tight. And what I also would like to see is some kind of contouring and support on the seat, because the seat here is very flat, and that is an attempt to make it more spacious. But on a long ride, obviously supports is what makes your ride a little more comfortable. But the good thing is that these seats come with 60-40 split, which is a good thing in case you want to trade in your passengers and carry more luggage. The engine in this S-Cross is something you might be familiar with, especially the 1.3-litre multijet from Fiat. In fact, it will come with two engine options, the 1.6 and the 1.3, and both engines are sourced from Fiat. The 1.6-litre is a new engine, but the 1.3 has been doing duty on many cars like the Desire and the Swift as well. So you're familiar with the engine, and what it does give you is nice fuel efficiency plus plenty of torque. What I drive here today is the 1.6-litre, and you might expect a lot more power output than what it really gives you. It's a very modest 120 brake horsepower that it generates, but what it does well is produce plenty of torque. It's 320 Newton meters of torque, and that's something which makes it very easy to drive this car, especially in city traffic. The torque is ideal for quick getaways from the red light when you are caught up in city traffic, and it gives it a nice, powerful, torquey feel when you initially start driving the car. The 1.6-litre engine here is mated to a 6-speed gearbox, and the gearbox here is imported from Japan. And some of you might think that the 6-speed gearbox is one cog too many, but the fact is that this one cog makes it very fuel efficient. According to ARI certification, this engine will give you over 22 kilometers to a litre, and that's not bad at all for a car this size, a crossover which can haul plenty of luggage as well as 5 people. In terms of drivability, the S-Cross is quite nice. In fact, the driving position is quite high, so it gives you a nice commanding view of the surroundings, and you feel very confident even on the highway. What I really like about the S-Cross is the ride quality. As to be expected, the S-Cross here is tuned more for ride comfort than for out-and-out handling. And if you spend time on the back seat, you're sure to appreciate the nice ride quality of this car. Well, to answer the question that how does this 1.6-litre engine behave? Well, to begin with, there is a bit of turbo lag. When you fire the engine, it doesn't do much till it gets to about 1700 RPM, and that's where the peak torque comes out. And after that, she drives quite well, and the NVH levels have been dealt with nicely. But again, if you really rev her hard, and when it reaches the higher parts of the rev band, it gets loud and a little harsh. But for normal driving, you won't even find that out. Overall, the S-Cross drives quite well, the ride is nice and smooth, and the engine delivers power quite linearly once it gets past the 2000 kilometer RPM mark. But then when you are cruising on the highway, as I am doing around 100 kilometer mark, what you get is a deep humming noise inside the cabin. And that's a little bit distracting, I must say. I think it is because of lack of insulation in some part of the body. Cutting cost? Maybe. On the 1.3-litre engine, what you will get is a standard 5-speed gearbox, and the fuel efficiency of the 1.3-litre will be marginally higher at over 23 kilometers to a litre. So if you are looking for only fuel efficiency and economy, the 1.3-litre should be a choice. But if you want a more spirited performance, then this 1.6-litre with a 6-speed gearbox should do well. And I think the car really balances out performance and fuel efficiency very well, because fuel efficiency of over 22 kilometers to a litre isn't really bad for a car this size. The S-Cross will be a nice addition to the Indian market. Keep in mind that there are other cars in this segment, but being the latest always has its advantages. And the S-Cross here will look fresh, it is reasonably good to drive, and comes with a host of features. And keeping in mind that this is a Maruti, you will also get a large service network. And Maruti here is creating an exclusive network called the Nexa to sell the S-Cross. So what you will get in addition to all this is business class privileges. And that should be a nice topping on the S-Cross cake here.
And Maruti, keeping in mind the price sensitivity of the Indian market, has priced the S-Cross aggressively, starting at Rs 8.34 lakh for the base diesel 1.3 litre model, while the base 1.6 litre starts at Rs 11.99 lakh and goes all the way up to Rs 13.74 lakhs. There will be 4 trims with the 1.3 litre engine, while the 1.6 litre variant will have 3 trims.